Hi guys. Alright, I'm going to bring you just quickly, just as briefly as I can, my thoughts on what happened today and get you updated without having to watch hours of this footage because it was a lot. Now, some of it disappointed me and some of it impressed me. But did you see him? I just wanted to point out one thing. Do you see a smile when he walks into the room or no? Because I keep seeing all these screenshots that, like, did they edit it or what? Because I don't see a smile. But anyway, just curious what your thoughts are on that. So he got seated. Everything started really quick. As soon as he got seated, the judge came in. He released some of the witnesses from the room so they could begin. And then the first witness up was Stephen Mercer. Stephen Mercer is an attorney from Maryland. He's in D.C. He's in the field of criminal defense with specialization in DNA. Now, Mercer says it's essential for the attorneys to know all the details of testing and investigation of DNA evidence. He said there are concerns surrounding evidence suppression and Fourth Amendment issues. Now, these are all defense witnesses, by the way. So he said that it is important for the defense to get all of the IgG and DNA information. Now, he also had the question, was it fast and loose? Was there searching of databases that violate the terms and conditions of the databases? He brought that up as another point for the defense, that they should have access to that information ahead of trial. So then we moved on to, I believe it was Becca Barlow. Let me pull her up here. All right, so a lot happened during this part of today. Becca Barlow is an attorney and a forensic consultant. Her job in this case was to identify what discovery was missing and what was needed. So she was mainly focusing on DNA profiles. She said that there is missing information in this case, that there are 3 other unidentified male profiles that are missing from the defense's files. So Ms. Barlow said she doesn't know if the profiles were uploaded to the proper genetic database. At this point, Mr. Thompson interjected and said that the 3 unidentified male samples were not qualified to be uploaded to the database, whatever that means. He didn't elaborate. So then the defense stood up. Ms. Ann Taylor said that's the first time she's hearing of this. It got a little heated there, and he called what she was saying then a mischaracterization of what he said, but he didn't clarify further on what he said either. So at this point, the judge asked the prosecution to reach back out to the lab and make sure there are no other existing documents that the defense needs that they don't have, that they requested. Now, Anne was adamant that the prosecution hasn't given them everything that they have, but then the state came back and said that they felt that that was just speculation. And it was like Bill Thompson was saying, we didn't think 3 unidentified DNA profiles that we've had all this time would be an issue today, 6 weeks from trial. I wasn't really pleased with that, but I don't really know what to think about it. I don't know. I think it's kind of important. So they went back and forth a little while here, and Becca continued testifying. And mainly she was just sitting there while they were going back and forth. So the state counter-argued. Let me see what my notes said here. He said, quote, "This information is not in the possession or control of the prosecuting attorney, and therefore cannot provide what it doesn't have." Now at this point, Mr. Thompson said, it's possible the FBI has it, but the state does not. State says FBI told them these things exist, but the state does not have it. What do you think about that? The state also said that it is trying to protect innocent civilians that are listed within the comprehensive database. And in saying, the quote was, "The mere possibility that the FBI violated the terms of service shouldn't be enough to force disclosure of the information, or else you will run into the issue of having to show the entire investigation every time." The judge said because this is a death penalty case, he doesn't want to make it through the full trial, only to hear during the appeal process if the defendant didn't have documents that they should have, and that would make all of them look like, quote, bad lawyers, unquote. The judge then said that he is not going to make a decision about the DNA testing today, the IgG stuff. So it looks like he's going to do it like he has been doing, which is to issue a written decision on the case. So everybody's going to be watching for that. He's going to have to review all these arguments alone and come to a decision. He did make one ruling, though, today, and I'll come to that in just a second. Now, they also did go back and forth on the alibi as well. That was the state's motion to compel him to give his alibi. The judge said that if Ms. Taylor plans to present witnesses to testify about Brian's alibi, she has to share that information with the prosecution before any more time passes. Like, you got to give it up. So he said that time is running out, and the state made the point that they don't want to be ambushed when the trial begins. So I thought that was really interesting. At this point, the judge stated that he had studied all of the case law before today's hearing, and he claimed that the affidavits that he read, it was vague. He said that based on what he was presented, he does not believe that there was a substantial failure in the grand jury indictment. So at that point, he went ahead and denied their motion to stay the proceedings. And then he said, quote, "As far as I'm concerned, we are starting the trial on October 2nd, unquote. Then they discussed the motion to dismiss indictment, and they went ahead and scheduled that for a hearing on September 1st. Now, they went through at this point choosing all of the deadlines for everything. I'm not going to list them all. I'm just going to put them down in the description so you can read them. But those are the deadlines. I'm going to write them on my calendar and check the case, on those dates and see if those deadlines have been met. Be kind of interesting to find out. So I think that's it that I wrote down for today. I believe I got everybody in there that testified today. I was pretty disappointed, honestly, that Anne let the unidentified DNA issue kind of be glossed over. Didn't really like her response on that, because when Mr. Thompson said, "We can't respond to something that isn't real," she didn't really say anything. They're basically saying that the DNA that was found was irrelevant, saying that it didn't qualify to be uploaded to a database or checked out. I don't agree. I mean, and a lot of people say, does IgG even matter? I mean, they found him, they found his DNA. Well, it could if anything was done incorrectly, and that's why I think that the motion to compel the IgG information from the state should be granted. Now, when Dr. Leah Larkin testified, she is the professional genetic genealogist from California. I thought she was adorable. She admitted that she was feeling nervous, and she did a lot of nervous giggling and things. I thought she was sweet. She just explained that crime scenes and genetic genealogy DNA should not be considered the same. She said, you spit in a tube for 23andMe, but you may only have traces of touch DNA on a knife sheath at a crime scene, for example. I really enjoyed her brief testimony, but I think she did what she came there to do. She made a couple of really good points, and that was it. And next up was Gabriela Vargas. She's an investigative genetic genealogist. I put up a video of her this morning. Could be yesterday morning, actually, by the time this is uploaded. So she is self-taught on the education and subject matter of IgG, but she's renowned. She's amazing. And she kind of explained her personal history with how she got into it, searching for her biological father. I thought that was really interesting. I knew there had to be a story there. Ms. Vargas explained that there were, she spent a lot of time detailing all of the loopholes within the various genetic genealogy databases. She says there are ways to see names that you shouldn't, pull up matches that you shouldn't. She said there are ways to get around agency restrictions and to see things that only law enforcement should have access to. And she said she personally struggles with this, morally speaking. She said it's an ethical dilemma for her. On one hand, she sees these techniques as a term violation, and on the other hand, it can get you results easier and quicker and get you who you're looking for. So she seems to be a little torn on it. And I knew if you watch my video from this morning, that's what I said about her. I was pretty close on pretty much what she was going to say today. And I think she did a really good job. So now it is in Judge's hands to make his rulings on the other motions. So now we just wait and see what he does. It's been crazy. It wasn't as volatile as I thought it would be. I mean, I was hoping for, a lot more fireworks. Mr. Thompson seemed a lot more fired up than Anne for most of it, but it was a long day, but it was a really good hearing, and I hope for the best outcomes possible for justice for these victims, no matter what. That's what we all want, right? Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I do respond to people, and I really appreciate your feedback. Have a great day or a great night, depending on where you are. Hit the like button on your way out. Thank you so much.